Ready? It's 3 p.m. and it's time for dinner with Nanny, Bubby. I am here in my kitchen and I am rolling up my sleeves, pulling up my hair, and not pulling it out, but pulling it up because I am going to get busy right now with some serious cooking. And hello, everybody. Thank you. Everybody's coming in and finding us. Today, I really am rolling up my sleeves, so much so that I put on what I call my magic apron because I have got to master this Bernaise recipe before I go out of my mind. So in early October, I am having a baby shower brunch for a very dear friend of mine who is pregnant with her first child, and for another dear friend of mine who this is her daughter-in-law, and we're very excited to be doing this. And I am creating a menu, but one of the things I want to serve is my amazing beef tenderloin that's marinated in my special ginger and soy sauce, or in my case, coconut aminos, frozen and then brought out and roasted slow and beautiful, that I want to serve with an amazing, hey Teresa, with an amazing Bernaise sauce or Bernaise mayo. Well, 2 weeks ago, I started to experiment while all of you were watching, and I made a Bernaise sauce mayo, if you will, that turned out horrible. It just was the worst tasting sauce I've ever tasted. And hi, Frank. And I think the reason that that was is that the recipe called for a cup of avocado oil or just a neutral bland oil like canola. But as you know, I never use canola oil. And so I am replacing that this time with avocado oil. What I did 2 weeks ago is I put in a cup and a half of the olive oil, and the olive oil was just so bitter. It just had such a bitter taste to it that the entire Bernaise sauce was just too bitter to eat. So today I'm experimenting with two different ways of making this Bernaise. Now, as Frank mentioned, hey Roseanne, as Frank mentioned last week or 2 weeks ago, is that there are 5 mother sauces, and he was correct. And Bernaise is born out of the one mother sauce, which is hollandaise sauce. So this is basically hollandaise sauce with the adding of shallots and tarragon. But there are many people have developed other ways of making classic Bernaise. So one of the ways of making classic Bernaise is by putting butter over a double boiler and doing all kinds of things to it that literally might take me an hour and a half in the morning just to make the sauce. And when you're entertaining maybe 25 people, you want something that could give you the same flavor but with a little less work and time invested. And so, as you all know, I'm sure that hollandaise sauce can be made in a blender. And I did find a blender Bernaise sauce. So I'm going to first start with this Bernaise mayo, and then so I'm making it 2 different ways for all of you, and I'll taste test it, and we can decide together what we like best, but I'll give you a little bit of taste. I am wearing my magic apron, so this apron, which has a big oil stain on it, is my workhorse. Like when I am testing recipes, when I am not on camera, when I am cooking for a family celebration, this is what I wear. I feel like when I put this apron over my neck and get busy working in this apron, that magic things happen. I can get through things, and it gives me, like, this is my cooking confidence apron, believe it or not. And so today, since I really was rolling up my sleeves and putting my hair back and getting ready, putting on my magic apron to make this sauce happen. So let's get busy. I also wanted to mention a couple of things. I wanted you to go give somebody some love, which was Cynthia Berman. And so when she gets here, if you guys see her, I'll tell you why we need to give Cynthia some love. I also want to tell you that the Happy Fridge is coming along. And since Roseanne is here, hello there, Eva Calic. Since Roseanne is here, I just wanted to mention that she posted this great thing from Consumer Reports about food expiration. And believe it or not, that coincides with this document that I put together on the Happy Fridge. And so I might bring a little bit of it here to discuss with you tomorrow, and we should be publishing it. So keep an eye out and Gather, and an eye out even here in Nanny Bubby. You can get it on my Instagram. You can get it here. You can get it in Gather. It's a free document. It's 27 pages long. Oh my gosh, I had no idea what I was writing when I was writing it. I just kept writing and researching and blah, 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 blah. And I ended up with a document that's like an encyclopedia, but I really think it's helpful and useful. So keep your eyes out for that. So, all right, if anybody sees Cynthia, give me a jingle. Eva says hi. Hello there, Eva. And with that, let's get started. So this is a variation of Ina Garden's recipe. She calls it a Bernaise mayo. And I started first. Let me just pull you around. And I needed to do this first because the recipe distinctly says that this needs to cool for a good 15 minutes before we put it into what she is calling a mayo. So what this is there we go. It said that suddenly I wasn't able to connect. It is 3/4 of a cup of white wine, a 1/4 of a cup of white wine vinegar, 3/4 of a cup of shallots minced, which I did in the food processor, get them nice and even and really minced up, and let's see, 3 tablespoons of tarragon. And I put that all into this saucepan, and the instructions were to reduce this. So this was boiling away, simmering away on the top of this little burner, and it says simmer until you have about a tablespoon of juice, which I've got that. I mean, I thought I had a tablespoon last week, and when I put it in, it was just, there was more than a tablespoon, but there's a good tablespoon or more left over, and it was reduced from all that liquid. And it's all absorbed into the shallots and into the tarragon. Tarragon has this wonderful anise aroma to it, licorice aroma, even more than the anise stars. It's just absolutely beautiful. I don't cook with it very often, but when I do, I'm reminded how much I actually really like it. So from there, we're going to switch, and this recipe begins in the food processor. So I am hoping that with the addition of the avocado oil, the cup of the avocado oil as opposed to the cup and a half of the olive oil, that this will make a big difference, and we will be able to give you a thumbs up on this. So we're going to place 3 egg yolks. Let me move this to make sure I've got this right. Let's see. 3 extra large egg yolks at room temperature. So I know you're probably tired of me saying this, but in order to bring eggs to room temperature very quickly, you take the eggs out of the refrigerator, you put them in hot tap water, as hot as you can make it. There's Cynthia Berman. Okay, so what I want to tell you is everybody go and show Cynthia Berman some love over on Instagram. Go to TheaB_living, Thea as in Cynthia, but without the sin, just the Thea B. She has, I'm just going to tell this story very quickly, and then I'll go ahead and make the Bernaise mayo. But Cynthia is a clothing designer. She designed kids for clothing many years ago, 20, well, gosh, Harmony's going to be 40, so about 35 years ago. And she used to send those beautifully designed clothes to Harmony when she was little. We found her clothes at Mervyn's. If you remember Mervyn's, raise your hand if you remember Mervyn's. We found them at let's see, Broadway. Raise your hand if you remember Broadway, and raise your hand again if you remember Bullock's. She was in all the very famous, there you go, she put it there, all the famous chain stores. She had an amazing children's brand. And then as things go, the brand ran its course, the Thea B. But I was talking to her over the weekend, and what I realized and she realized is that where she's going with her life and with her business and with her Full House Fallbrook barndominium that she leases out for Airbnb, she's not just Cynthia Berman. She's got a brand, and it should come back. It's a retro brand that is very modern and very here now. So for all of you gatherers who are here, go over to Instagram if you can and show her some love at Thea B. living. So there we go. Happy to give Cynthia a shout out. I was very excited for her that she shifted back to her old brand. So very nice. Okay, thank you guys all so much. Lene, hey Lene. Lene is back. So we're going to go ahead. So now these eggs are back to room temperature. Let me just grab a towel here. If you're just joining us, I'm in my workhorse apron. This is what I call my magic apron, given to me by my very dear friend who put the word Chef Nanny Bubby on this apron for me when I first got it. And she gave it to me as a hostess gift. And this apron actually, when she gave it to me, put me in tears and I cried hysterically. I didn't even know why I was crying, but it changed my life because I saw a vision for where my cooking could go for other people. And so this is my magic apron. Whenever I am really trying to work through a recipe, I wear this apron because this apron in and of itself is my cooking confidence apron, my magic apron. So these are room temperature now. I dried them off. We're going to separate them. So we could do it two ways. I'll show you the first way, which all of you are good cooks, so you know this. From shell, there we go, to back to the shell, and you get rid of the white. Oh, I'm losing that yolk. I lost the yolk. Well, we will get another one. I'll put this, well, I'm going to just toss this whole thing and start again. So let me, hold on just 1 minute because I need 2 eggs. So that is why I love putting it through your fingertips better. So let me get this warmed up. I'm putting a cold egg from the refrigerator, and that's why this technique is so great, is that if you do what I just did, you can take this hot water, run it over the cold egg, just set it here. The hot water brings the cold egg down to room temperature, and the cold egg brings the water cooler. Let's see. Thank you for the shout out. Yes, why do eggs have to be room temperature? Because especially in this particular recipe, they blend better. They absorb the oils better, or in this case, it's going to be the butter, the oils in the Bernaise mayo and in the sauce, the Bernaise sauce. When they're cold, they, just like the pores in our hands will close up when they're cold, and if you're putting on, lotion or whatever, it doesn't go in as easily. But when your skin is warm and when you're out, in the sun sunbathing, that's why you put oil in, because the pores are open and it absorbs better. So it's all about absorption. So let's try this one more time, shall we? That's what I love so much about all of you, and what I love so much about the show, if that's what you call this, that we do every day, is it's about living your mistakes. It's about how did that happen, or why did that happen? And some of the things we've learned is that when you get an eggshell in eggs, the only way to get an eggshell out of your eggs is with another eggshell. You use that half of that eggshell, dig in, and that other little chip of an eggshell just comes right out. Otherwise, you chase after it with a spoon and your fingernail and everything else. So, okay. So I'm going to do this egg the way I like to do eggs, which is just open it up. Here we go. And we're going to put this right between our hands, if you can see that. Get it out. There we go. There is a little spot on this egg, so I'm going to get that little spot out. There we go. And there's one. Okay. Let's dry it. And now I've also found, believe it or not, this is very odd and strange to me, that an eggshell cracks better if you actually crack it on the counter rather than on the edge of a glass, like I just did, or an edge of a bowl. A hard crack on the edge of something, it doesn't open up as well, and I'm not sure what the physics behind all of that is. There we go. There's 2, and now here comes the 3rd. So I don't know what the physics are with all of that, but watch how much easier this egg separates when cracked on the counter. So here we go. Not sure what those physics are, but with that hard crack on the edge of something, it just doesn't quite do it. So yesterday we gained 1 like on the Nanny Bubby page, so now we only have, let's see, we're at 973 4, I think. So we only have 26 people left to get into the fold here till we hit that 2,000 mark. So I'm shamelessly promoting if you would invite your friends to like the Nanny Bubby page. Excited to get there to that 2,000 mark. And I'm going to have a special giveaway for everybody when we get to 2,000. So aside from the fact that you'll get your notifications better. So I'm excited about that for everybody. Okay, and this egg already has come to room temperature, but these eggs are for the other. So now, with the 3 eggs, we're going to put lemon juice, which it's 3 tablespoons of lemon juice. There we go. That makes it nice and tangy, and I like that. We are going to put a tablespoon of mustard right here, Dijon mustard, which I love in this sauce. Okay, now I really like the texture of the Bernaise mayo, so I am hoping upon all hope that what happens here is that once I have shifted these oils, that the flavor is far better because it was so horrible last time. Okay, the mustard, wow, salt calls for 2.5 teaspoons, but I can't imagine that that could be correct, but I'm going to do it anyway. 1, 2.5. Wow. Excuse me. The fumes of the salt got into my throat. That's crazy. Okay. And now a 1/2 teaspoon or 1 teaspoon of pepper. So we're going to put that pepper right in. There we go. Note to self, I have to grind more pepper here. All righty. Okay. And let's see what the next step is here. And in the bowl of a food processor fitted with a steel blade, process for 10 seconds. So who's going to count with me here? Ready? Here we go. By the way, I did order a new top for the mixing bowl. If you can imagine, I cannot believe that I've literally broken every part on this food processor. I don't know when this part broke, but it is broken. I have to hold it together with my hands, but the new part is on its way. If I have to replace one more part on this free Cuisinart that I got from the Cuisinart company, believe it or not, I'm just going to go out and buy another one. It's crazy. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, there we go. And now we're going to slowly pour in the avocado oil and the olive oil. Now, I really have to tell you, I did buy this beautiful aromatic organic olive oil from Costco. So you guys probably all know this oil. Let me grab it. It's a Kirkland organic extra virgin olive oil. And so this is kind of a workhorse in the kitchen, but I didn't feel when I tasted it, it's very bitter. So it's okay for sauteing some onions or mushrooms or, whatever else in small amounts. But to put a 1/2 cup of this, it was just too bitter. So I bit the bullet, no pun intended, or I bit the olive. And I am going to use a 1/2 cup of this Olivem reserve olive oil from, of course, Temecula Olive Oil Company. And what I want to tell you is that I tasted this, and this in no way had any of that bitter aftertaste in it. So I am hoping that this will do the trick. So let's start first. Turn this on. Whoops. All right. Here goes the avocado oil. Right down the feed tube, nice and slow so it gives time to thicken those egg yolks. There we go. And now, there's a nice neutral oil, and now we're going to add the olive oil. So let's see how this goes. Okay. So that is thickening very nicely. So now, we're going to add the shallot reduction. Let's check this. Let's see how this looks. Oh, yeah. This is beautiful. It's nice and thick. It almost looks like egg whites. that have been whipped. So let me just get a spoon here and show this to you. And let's taste it. I'm just so hopeful that maybe this will work because I really like this recipe with the lemon juice and the white wine. I just feel like it's just an amazing flavor. Whoops. And this is why my parts keep breaking, because the way that they're put in here, they fall out. Okay. All right. And I keep forgetting to put my finger over the top, but let me taste it. Okay. That's not bad. And we haven't put in the aromatics of the tarragon yet, and we haven't put in the shallots and the white wine and the white wine vinegar. So I think this might work. This is way, way better. Now, Teresa sent me a recipe when I first made this that said there is no oil in this recipe. It was a Bernaise sauce, but Teresa, I think before you got here, I mentioned that, you know, when you're having like a baby shower like I am for 25 people, you just don't want to, that French way of making Bernaise sauce really, really, really takes a long time. And I don't want to be, you know, cooking French for a brunch. It's time consuming, and it will make me nervous, right? Because French cooking does take a long while, and I love doing it, but there's times when there's a time and place for it that can work. And in this time and place, I really want to do something that could be as tasteful and tasty as cooking French, but not as time consuming. So I guess if I were Thomas Keller, could cook as easily and quickly in French food, and I was well trained, I wouldn't feel nervous about it, but I do. So I'm trying to find an alternative. So there we go. Pulsing the shallots. There we go. Okay, let's give this a try. I'm going to put this into, oh my gosh, hold on. Okay, so I'm going to put this in 2 gravy boats. This is the very first one. This is the one made with the oil, one made with the shallots and the lemon juice. This is a little less thick than the one that I made 2 weeks ago, and which I'm kind of happy about. Let's fill this up. There we go. This looks lovely, actually. This looks really nice. So let me show this to you. Now, maybe if I had whipped it a little more, maybe there might not have been quite as much, but let's get a spoon here. Let me get a couple spoons because I'm going to be tasting the other one as well. Okay, so here's what it looks like. There we go. Can you all see that? And it is thick, but not as thick as the one where I use the 1.5 cups of olive oil. So let's give it a taste and let's see how we're doing here. So there's a little bit of a bitter taste, but I think there's supposed to be. I think Bernaise has just a little bit of that taste to it. It's probably supposed to. With the olive oil and the white wine vinegar and the shallots, it's actually, you know, imagine this. I'm making steaks tonight, so I'm going to test these both on top of the steaks. Okay, so there's number one. Okay, everybody's good? Here's a double gravy boat for the next sauce. So let's clean up our mess. As Wolfgang Puck always says, clean up after yourself. So let's do that. I get the biggest kick out of him. I know you guys are probably tired of hearing me say that. Okay, moving this, we're going to take this. I've got to take a drink of my Perrier here. Hey, Lucy, how are you? Lucy's here. Everybody's here. I just want to say again, we're almost to 2,000. When we get to 2,000, I'm going to have another contest to celebrate with everybody that we finally got there. I think we're 26 people from getting to 2,000. So invite your friends, not to gather. Well, I mean, you could invite them to gather for sure, but we also are trying to get our likes on the Gather with Nanny Bubby Facebook page where you're watching me right now up to over 2,000. So when we get to 2,001, we're having a contest to celebrate, of which, why don't you tell me what you'd like that contest to be? That will be so fun. Okay, because I haven't decided what that is yet, because I figure we've got a little bit of time, but I'm taking suggestions from the peanut gallery here. Okay, so here's the next step. We're making Bernaise sauce, more of a hollandaise sauce, right? And Bernaise, I will say again, hey Debbie Howe, Bernaise comes out or is born out of one of the 5 mother sauces, which is actually hollandaise. And I'm making this for baby shower, and I'm testing it, which is why I have on my magic apron, the first apron that was ever given to me that changed my life. I always wear it when I'm testing and working hard, because even when I say goodbye to all of you, I'm going to keep going to make sure that this happens correctly. Tomorrow, I'm going to be making a broccoli and carrot side dish, which is going to go with Russell's birthday dinner, which is next week. Next Thursday. And so I have tested every recipe of his, but I have not tested the side dishes. And Roseanne was actually talking about side dishes, that her cooking anxiety, her pain point in the kitchen is literally like when she goes to make a dinner, she's got everything perfect. And then it's like, what do I do for a side dish? And sometimes you overdo it with your side dishes because they're too rich. And then sometimes if you don't, you feel like you have done something that isn't quite as good as it should be. And so in this test, I always do 2 things. I put my hair up and back out of my face so I can dig in, not worry about hair. I put on my magic apron and I get busy. So that's what we're doing here today. So we're moving on to the blender. It's called Blender Bernaise sauce. And we are going to take 2 cups, 1 cup of unsalted butter, which I have cooled and is in this pot right here. So we're going to melt the butter, which we did. It says that it should be bubbling hot. Add vinegar and egg yolks and blend on high speed for several seconds. Remove the center lid, pour the hot butter. So I guess I should make it hot and bubbly. So let's do that. I thought that it would turn the egg yolks to scrambled eggs, but listen, if it does, we know to use the other recipe, right? So let's see what happens. Okay, 2 sticks of butter, a 1/4 cup white wine vinegar right here, 2 large egg yolks. So let's separate these eggs right here. And I just want to make sure, add the vinegar, egg yolks, and blend on high. So we'll do this. Blend on high for several seconds with the blender still running. Okay, well, let's get these egg yolks in there. So let's do it. So this egg yolk came to room temperature very nicely after I ruined the other egg, which was great. Okay, take this off. There goes 1 egg yolk. Here we go with another. I love doing eggs like this. You never have to worry. You never have to worry. They never break in like they did in the eggshell about 20 minutes ago when I tried to do it from eggshell to eggshell. So, of course, cook's best tools are clean hands. So make sure that before you do this, you wash them and rinse them well so that you don't get, okay, let me turn this off. This is starting to bubble. I don't want it to burn. Okay, there we go. So we're putting eggs and in a blender, eggs and vinegar, turn on high. There we go. And we're turning it on high. Whoa. I don't want this to burn. Turn on high for how long? Let me see. everybody, we are going to remove the center that we turn you can see, and we're taking the hot butter. Turn it down just a little bit. Add the tarragon and the shallot. So here goes the 2 tablespoons of shallot. So basically 1 shallot. And just like you can hear, 2 tablespoons. Okay. Let me give this a quick rinse. And we're going to gradually turn this down. So what's interesting is there is steam coming out of this blender. There we go. Okay. Let's see what happens here. We ready? That was very quick, right? So I mean, did I miss something? Salt and freshly ground pepper. Well, let's see if we can just turn it just slightly up a little bit. And we'll put in the salt into the feed tube. And I just ran out of pepper in the other recipe, so I can sort of taste what that might be like. Okay. Okay. Taste test time. Boy, that was fast. So if I was looking for something fast, that definitely was it, right, guys? Okay. There we go. Get this. There we go. Wow. And it's nice and yellow. It's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I feel like this might be better. Any thoughts? So this is great because there would not be the bitter taste of the olive oil. Okay, let's give this a taste. So I want to just show you the difference in color. This is the blender, and this is the food processor. They look alike, but this is a little bit more green, green yellow, and this is more of a golden yellow. This is the oil, and let's see. And this maybe could have used a little more tarragon in it, I will say. This is the winner. Absolutely. The blender Bernaise is the winner. Absolutely. Absolutely. Wow. I will publish this for all of you. That is the winner right there. I can't believe it. Look how easy that was. Now, the only thing I would say is that I needed to add just leaves of the tarragon in it after I made it, because in the Vitamix turned on high, it liquefied. If you can see that, it liquefied and you cannot see the tarragon in it. But so you keep a little, maybe a tablespoon on the side just to mix in. It gave me the perfect amount. I don't think I need more than that. I feel like this is way too much. Let's grab another clean teaspoon and let me taste this one more time. It's just too bitter. The oils make it just too bitter. I can't believe it. Yep. Okay. So there we are. We finally have it. My magic apron pays off every single time. I'm so happy about this. And now I can move on, and you're going to be seeing me make some of the rest of the recipes throughout the rest of this month till I get down to the baby shower, and hopefully I'll have everything perfected. By then, I almost have Russell's birthday dinner perfected, and I'm very excited. So tomorrow is his side dishes. I just, spoiler alert, I'm not going to be here on Friday. I have a meeting, Roseanne's in the mix on this. I have a meeting at Channel 8 on Friday. that happens to be right at 3:30, and there is nothing that I can do about that. So I will not be here on Friday, but maybe at 3 o'clock when I'm driving down to this meeting, I'll pop on and say hello to everybody. But I thank you always for being here every single day and being just the best besties and cookies that I could ever have. And in Gather, welcome everybody in our Gather group. I am going to post a question in Gather, which is, what is your pain point in the kitchen? So anybody that you know that really struggles or suffers in the kitchen, just have them answer the question. And I will be excited just to learn where everybody is at in their cooking journey, or where the majority is, so I can be there to assist everybody if I can. And and I love you. That's all there is to it. I'm so, can I tell you how excited I am that this one is the one? Like, this is just awesome. So awesome. So anyway, thank you for being here. On the count of 3. Yes, Lucy, I'll post it tomorrow because I have to get it in, format. Um, well, actually, I could probably just post the ingredients right here in the video like I always do, and just watch the video for instructions. Okay, everybody, on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, go out and spread love like butter. It's not on this apron, but it did come afterwards. Thank you, everybody. Bye.